Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution. Join me, Naima Latif, every morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, as we bring you stimulating discussions about the issues affecting our lives. If you're listening online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution, press the blue button that says follow and get our daily topics every morning directly to your email and your smartphone. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, executive producer of the Female Solution radio show. We invite you to call in 515-605-9325 and participate in this daily think tank as we examine the challenges we face and develop solutions that restore peace and harmony. We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangadef. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all. What if you could live to be 120 years old and remain active, healthy, alert, and vibrant? Our bodies are made up of cells that are constantly rejuvenating. So if we take proper care of ourselves, we can literally defy aging. Join us every Tuesday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time to learn about self-care from Suson Essentials on the Female Solution Blog Talk Radio Show. Learn how to help your body and your cells feel rejuvenated each day through proper nutrition, sleep, frequency medicine, and many unconventional methods of self-care. I'm Jodi Suson. Join me and my amazing guests by calling in at 515-605-9325 and press 1 to speak. We'll help you achieve a breakthrough in your health today.
Well, Grand Rising, everybody. This is Jodi Suson-Calhoun. Okay, I didn't do that right, because when my soul sisters from the other versions of the show, when they pronounce my name, they go, Reverend Jodi Suson-Calhoun. Okay, so that's a wake-up call. We are talking today about healing is a dance. And I am so grateful to have my new friend who I met almost 1 year ago today, just a little shy. Her name is Jenn Chung Silverfyre. And she is going to talk about personal healing and how each one of our personal healing journeys are uniquely different. She says we are what time and effort and interaction slowly unveil. She is an inspirational speaker, teacher, energetic healer, and weaver of light. Her mission in life is to facilitate and stimulate spiritual growth and transformation. So I'm encouraging you today to call in to 515-605-9325 to ask questions or make a contribution. And I'll tell you why. This lady is my mentor. She showed up for me. So let her show up for you. Without further ado, let me bring in my friend Jenn. There's something funky going on with my articulation. It's like my words are jumbling. That is weird. Okay, we're gonna clear that. All right. Let me just get the computer back where it needs to be. And there you go. Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Words are jumbling this morning. I'm like, that's weird. So
you may have some, you have some circuits crossed.
yes, I do.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's clear the circuits. Okay, thank you. Are they cleared? Yes. Is there anything else that needs to be cleared for right now? No. Okay, I think we're good. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, that's really weird.
It happens. Lots of interesting things happen in our journey in life, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, I had to time travel yesterday. So, yeah, I'm sure circuits got crossed.
When you do dimensional things, it gets much more interesting.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. So, Jenn, I met you in training for divine intervention, spontaneous remission. There's so much to talk about that, but what brought you to spiritual healing? I'm just gonna stop there. Go ahead.
It's always, I think, not only for me but for other people as well, it's always starts as a personal journey of looking for solutions and answers for ourselves, right? When I was a child, I'm very sensitive and intuitive, and I could feel when people weren't well, and I would go and I would take it, and then they would feel better, and then I would be walking around and like, well, I don't know what to do with this. So as a child, I was pretty often sick. When I was getting older, I was like, okay, I need to find out what do I do with this stuff? How do I be better? What can I do to be healthy and well rather than sick all the time? So that's when I started looking for answers, and I came across some, I think, someone told me about a psychic fair. I went to it, and then I found out that the place that was hosting the event had some workshops and healing things, and so I decided to start, with some workshops and meditation, and that's how really I started.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like you, I was taking on other people's energy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I had shared with you, I grew up with horses since I was a child, since I was
Mm-hmm.
7. And I do think that if I didn't have the horses, which are so healing, as you know, I would have been in a bad place. I mean, worse than what happened. Right? Because horses are just, I feel they're here to help us harmonize our energy and to facilitate healing.
Right.
So, what, for me, I know that, oh, my husband's already calling in. All right. Thank you, Andrew, for listening in. We see you on the switchboard. Sorry. For me, I remember I didn't go to a psychic fair. My doctor, Dr. Michelle Kukla, who was the psychologist who I would effectively say led the team that got me off of all the medications that I was on. I was on 19 different medications. She is very much into healthy living, as that's the name of her counseling center. And she would hold these fears, health fears, and she actually even brought in rock stars to do singing on stage, right?
Mhm.
And I forget what her name is, but I'll find it during the show because it was kind of fun. And I remember the very first time I explained to a woman it was a chiropractor at one of the tables about how I heard that the apartment that I was living was going on the auction block, like 2 days before it went on the auction block. And so I Googled it or researched it online because Spirit was telling me I had to move. And I'm like, but I'm on disability right now and funds are kind of tight. Yeah. And like, well, you still need to move. And so they said, look up your address. And I looked up my address and it was going up on the auction block 2 days. It was going up on the auction block in a couple of days. So it's interesting that, some people ignore this. And I think for you and I, we could not.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's something we might want to encourage people who are listening, that if there are some, we'll use a technical term because that's important, wonky things happening. If there's some wonky things, start asking questions, right?
Yeah. It's when we ask questions that we'll receive answers. When we start questioning, that is when guidance spirit can send us answers. If we don't have a question, then it's like, just walking around, going by our days, and we don't really pay attention. When we start asking the questions, then we also start paying attention, and we're looking for answers, looking for solutions, and then that's when things come to us. So questions are important. And then pay especially good attention when you get an answer more than once.
How has that shown up for you or people that you've coached?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, so like I have stories of people who have like I have a client,
Mm-hmm.
and I've known her since the 2nd grade, and I've always bought a certain item from her. I don't want to say what it is because then people would know who she is. And so she had issues with her skin, and she was going to go see an MD,
Mm-hmm.
which consistently goes to see an MD and doesn't get results, right? Mm-hmm. So I said, and it's the middle of winter, I'll tell you what, because she couldn't decide whether or not she should see me. Like she doesn't fully understand what we do in terms of energetic healing. And I said, how about this? If you see a giraffe, like if you see a giraffe, that's your sign to come see me. If you see a butterfly, it's your sign to go see a doctor, like an MD. And she said, okay. She said, I'm not going to see a flipping giraffe, so that's fine with me. So she walks out the door, and she's driving to, I think, Home Depot, and she went to TJ Maxx, billboards with a giraffe, TJ Maxx, giraffe. Now, I can't make that up, right?
No. That's really amazing.
Yeah, so pay attention to your signs, right?
Right.
Yeah. Signs.
Exactly. And, a lot of times we think that we have to hear something in order to be guidance, and that's not necessarily the case. Messages can come to us in a lot of different ways. Even from talking to a friend, they can tell you what you need to hear, or maybe you turn on the radio and it says at that moment the exact words that you need to hear. And there's lots of different ways to get your messages.
Well,
the answers you're looking.
absolutely. I mean, my husband, many times has he has a question, right? And he has told me, yeah, and then the song, the song came on the radio XYZ, and it was exactly what I needed to hear, right? So, oh, and he wants to contribute. So hold on, I'm going to bring him on the call. So, okay, Andrew, we're bringing you on. You are live on
Great.
Blog Talk. Grand Rising.
Good to be live. Good morning. I've got just a few minutes before I stop my office and get working on something. But I wanted to share about just people who are thinking about the concept of intuition, or what do you actually hear spirit? And when you said there are some things that seem inconsequential, like thinking, I really wish I could hear some Rolling Stones. It would be really great. And you turn on the radio, and there it is, right there. Maybe those are little signs to let spirit letting you know, I'm here, I'm connected with you, and I'm going to show you ways that I'm here, ways that you can notice. Because lots of times, spirit's present with you all the time, but it's present and you don't recognize it.
Mm-hmm.
We can't see the path. We think that we should be able to see what we want in the end, vision that, but also see the steps on how to get there. And it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes it's very, very zigzag route to get to the goal that you want. So we don't have to know. We can know the destination. We don't have to know the way to get there. And so these signs that you're talking about, which seem like trivial, which they might be, are just ways to ping back onto us to say, I'm here working with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we get that all the time everywhere. And it's like we were saying earlier, if you ask, then you will receive it and you'll notice it more. You'll pay more attention to it.
True. And things where I'm looking to, I'll give you an example from yesterday. I mean, it happens once you start seeing, and you both know this really well, once you start looking for it, you'll see God's spirit present more often. So yesterday, I was talking to my boss, and I said, I worked with senior centers in Marietta as part of my outreach. And I thought I'd really like to be able to connect with more of the veterans groups. The senior centers in Marietta, Georgia, have some active veterans groups. So I thought that'd be a good start. And then my team member comes back several hours later and said, I don't know why, but I got suggested I go to the senior center. And I walked in there and I was talking about what we do. And this guy approached me and he says, I'm with a veterans group. I just heard what you were talking about with your primary care practice. It sounds like a really good fit for us. Would you guys come and speak to our group? And she didn't just happen to be there by chance. That was God putting her in the spot that I needed. The very same morning, I said, I wish I had a contact there. She comes back in the afternoon. Here's a contact. She said, I don't know how it happened. I was just standing there. He walked up to me. Yeah, those things happen. And it's not by chance. So people should recognize when they say, gosh, that was lucky, not lucky, and be able to recognize that.
Yeah, Andrew, you can't see the screen, but I put up there, Andrew is a master manifester. I may have spelled it wrong, but that's what I wrote. So
well, it's good when that happens for sure. We need it's helpful when spirit steps in and just shows us that he's there or she's there all the time. Really gratifying.
Well, and here's the thing. So spirit, I think what I want to just make sure that people hear is like you were manifesting a particular thing, which was a connection to the veterans, right? And it didn't have to go through you. It was brought to you by somebody you're connected to. Right.
Right. And then I will jump in there and make it make it bigger. And that the senior center is just one connection point. There are many others that we can help, because I love what I do, the new job that I'm working on which is the primary care provider, working only with people on Medicare. And it's Oak Street Health. It's growing really quickly all around the country, and I'm leading the opening of the Marietta location. But it's so I've got a mission that I feel very passionate about fulfilling, and trying to be able to spread that out to as many people as I can. As both of you have a mission in your life, what you're working towards, this is a real mission-driven company, and I love to be making an impact on people's lives in the way that I can.
Awesome.
But yeah.
Well, I'm excited for you. So if anybody who's listening is on Medicare and they live in Georgia, Oak Street Health is your place to go. They help you maximize your Medicare benefits without any additional out-of-pocket costs to you. Sorry, there's your commercial.
It's an awesome thing. It's incredible how many things we can do without any additional cost to people. And for people who are listeners in Chicago, we were founded in Chicago. That's where we started. So we have 177 offices around the country, starting from Chicago and kind of going east and south. They're all over the place.
Yeah.
I was very excited. So I got to jump off the call because I'm getting to my office. I'm about ready to get out of the car. But I just wanted to chime in because I'm so passionate about what I do and what you two are delivering to the universe.
Thank you,
I'm so grateful. Have a good rest of the show.
You too, honey. Have a good day. And that call's dropped. Good. So if you're listening, share with us where are you listening in from? Last week I had people from India, Chicago, Georgia, New York, from all over the world. So I'm curious where you're listening in from. And Jenn, you have your friend here.
Yeah, she's from Germany.
She's from Germany. Well, welcome. And how do I pronounce your friend's name? Solange. Well, Solange, I just want to welcome you to the show and thank you for listening in. And if you want to call into our show, that would be tough, actually. Well, maybe not. I don't know. I shouldn't make an assumption. If you have questions, you can post a question in the thread, people can call in at 515-605-9325 to ask questions of Jenn. And Berlin, Germany. So my husband actually was there when the wall came down. So in Berlin. So it's Germany is a very cool place. I've not been there, but I've seen the pictures and of course have lots of friends from Germany. It's a beautiful place. So what would you like to share talk to us about being a weaver of light? What does that mean?
So if you're familiar with weaving, most people think of weaving in terms of like fabrics and threads. And so it is, it's multifold. And what I think about is that I am not only, when I work with people, not only am I untangling things, knots and things, areas where there's not smoothness going through, I'm untangling things, and I'm also reweaving things, and I'm also weaving light into people too. And so it's multifold, and it, in a way, it's kind of like a dance too, because it's like I'm going in and out of dimensionally, I'm working dimensionally, I'm working quantumly, I'm working in different aspects of a person or with a group or even land itself. And so in many different ways, I am making connections within people on the planet. When I travel, I'm actually creating grids. And so there's a lot of interweaving that happens on an energetic level, on a physical level in a certain way, and definitely planetary level, dimensional levels. Yeah.
So what does it mean, though, when you're traveling, you're creating grids, for those who don't understand?
So I hold certain light and certain frequencies. And so when I go to different places, it's sort of like I I don't always do it. However, when I go to certain places, I also set almost like setting anchor points, you know, and so it's connecting certain places to light, and it makes, then this is more for much more farther into the future, basically creating channels of energy and light for things to happen. And if, for example, like in the near future, teleportation channels, you know, or ways of
Near future.
well, you know, I mean, for
What
the
did I do last night? I'm just saying.
well, I mean, for, you know, the masses, right? Right now, there's a small group of people that can do certain things, and soon all this stuff, it's like, what do you mean you can't read a mind? You know, it's gonna become natural and a part of us, and you know, with teleporting, levitating, all the things that are magical and impossible, those things are actually very possible. So I'm doing service in a certain way, you know, and anchoring certain points and doing certain healings on land and energies, and this is all like soul level type things, you know. I don't really, I know my spirit, my soul is doing something. I get called to go to certain places, and I let my soul do its thing. I really, from a human level, I can't do this stuff. It's, you know,
What's your spiritual self
yeah,
that's doing it just like mine? So when we
absolutely.
got here, there was this house that we really wanted to buy. So this was, you know, almost 18 months ago. And I was really being called to the house.
Mhm,
And I get there, and it was really the wrong neighborhood for me.
mhm,
But the house was calling us there because the land needed healing.
exactly.
And so so it's hopefully a good example that, you know, we're here to heal the wounds of the past, not only for people, but the land actually holds that frequency, and we can infuse it with God's light, infuse it with love, and, you know, infuse it with the ability to be adaptable versus holding on to something that doesn't serve it. Yeah,
Mhm,
like
mhm.
that.
Yeah,
Uh,
and you know, for all the listeners out there, not everybody might label or call themselves healers, and so I wanted to address that because in actuality, we're all energetic beings, we're all spirit beings, we're all capable of doing healing, and healing is not something that's like complicated or complex. We make it as complex as we believe it to be, and however, something as simple as giving someone a hug can be totally healing. A smile for someone can change someone's day, you know.
wait, how does a smile change someone's day? Explain the background on that, if you
Well,
don't
I mean, on a biological level, like smiles are actually very uh what's the word? I'm blanking on the word.
mind. Well, it's a frequency,
Yeah,
right?
well, it's what just like this word, however, the only word that's coming up at the moment, it's not the word I'm looking for, infectious, you know. So like
Oh, sure.
when you smile, it automatically, like, there's a physiological response of
Right.
like, oh, I want to smile too. So that, and when we smile, it actually stimulates brain chemicals, you know, serotonin, dopamine, all those things, just simply by smiling. So if someone is having a bad day, you know, maybe they're just cranky, whatever's, and you smile, um it's it's a silent, like, let's see if we can brighten up your day, you know. And maybe they smile back, maybe they don't, and if they smile back, then great, you made a difference in that moment for that person. um so that is what I'm talking about. Healing can be very, very simple. And even something like what Jodi, you mentioned, sending love. I mean, love is that specific frequency. When we have love in our hearts and we are sending it intentionally to someone, to someone, something, the land, it absolutely has a wonderful effect on it. If you've ever heard of this Japanese researcher, his name is Emoto, Emoto. He did research on water and the effect of, for example, love on water. So he would take water and, have people send love to it, love, 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 love. Oh, I love you. I love you. And then he would freeze the water, then look at the crystals under a microscope, and the crystals that show up are gorgeous, beautiful, and it just shows just something as simple as saying I love you to your water before you consume it. Exactly, that's what it looks like. It'll be beautiful. And so if we do this, if we send this to other people, the land, etc., we're making huge contributions and we're doing this healing. And when we send love out, love comes in. And this is where that dance that we're talking about, right?
Right. And so I'll share briefly though. So since our bodies are made up of 70% water, right? And we already know we can affect water with love or hate, right? Distinctly different frequencies, and they show up differently in the water. Then doesn't it make sense to become an effective communicator, right? So that you can share your feelings in a way that comes with ease and grace, right? Comes with love. Because, if you've ever seen, which I can bring it up again, but if you've seen water that's been yelled at or a plant, it's not pretty.
No, it's not.
It's really not. It's actually, in some cases, demonic looking.
Right.
And yeah. So if you are doing that, what I want people to understand, which is really what shifted how I started being, because I used to just yell. Okay. You can't do that, people. We have to shift our thinking. We have to shift our being, because we're actually putting that negative energy into the cells of the person that you're yelling at, and we're actually damaging their cells.
Not only them, but ourselves too. It's not just them, it's us as well. And like Andrea in the comments, it says words have power, and that's absolutely true. The words we choose to use are very, very important, and it has an effect on us. It has a vibrational frequency that affects us at cellular levels.
Yeah, think about this. This is going back a long time. My husband, a way long time ago, so it's not happening now. So my husband and I are having a blowout fight over the bone broth that I'm cooking.
Oh no, I wouldn't drink that.
Thank you, right? Because now it's poison. And I want people to understand that. So if you're constantly arguing in your house, so once I figured that out, I'm like, pray on the food, which you do need to do anyway. We need to go to commercial real quick, but I want to come back to this because words have power, energy has power, and we have to be aware of the energy that we bring. Don't you agree?
Yes.
Yeah. So we can talk about that. We'll go to commercial real quick. And I encourage people, we've got people on all platforms here. We've got many platforms. So if you see me looking another way, that's because I'm managing a few platforms here. But, please call in with your questions after commercial, 515-605-9325. Give us your power, man. Not like give away your power, but give us your powerful questions so that we can, keep this awesome conversation going. All right. Here, give me a second here, and um, there we go.
Jodi Suson of Suson Essentials was misdiagnosed and nearly died in 2013. Instead, she chose to reclaim her health using plant and energy-based healing. After losing 92 pounds, she now offers a psychologist and doctor-recommended functional food program, focusing on two things: toxic-free living and a connection to our brain health. Suson Essentials re-engineered what health looks like with a self-paced functional food program, now available to you with plans starting at just $99.
The Female Solution Global Radio TV Show invites you to an invigorating conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda Speaks. Tuesdays, Self Care with Jodi Suson. Wednesdays, Repairing Broken Families with Naima Latif and co-host Kareem Hamid. Thursdays, Soulful Solutions with Dr. Debbie Green. And Fridays, Health and Well-Being with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Success Strategies with Jana. Second Saturday, Wendy Williams Esquire on relationships. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. And fourth Saturday, Wisdom with Mama D. Join us Sundays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Call in and comment 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak to the host and be a part of the solution.
And we are back, and we're so grateful that you're here and that you're contributing, that you're listening. And we have Reverend Jenn Chung Silverfyre. What a beautiful name, really, Silverfyre. Think about that. That's just amazing. It just rings, actually. Naima Latif, who is our executive producer of the show, she says, Grand Rising, beautiful spiritual teachers. I have plants in my house that reflect my moods daily. They droop when I'm sad and perk up when I'm happy, right? So frequency travels. And then she says, it's the same with people. We're affecting the people around us with our unspoken thoughts, both positive and negative. It's been a difficult lesson to teach people this, Naima, that sometimes people don't understand that when they are, not feeling well and angry, and and on top of that, they're quashing themselves, which is going to make it burst. like just diffuse it by saying, hey, I'm not doing well. And the mere fact of sharing that and having the other person receive that message and them sending you love shifts that energy out. I think. I mean, Jenn, what do you think?
Absolutely. It would make a tremendous difference. A lot of times we don't share. And I'm guilty of this. I don't share how I feel, and I hold things in, and I think that I gotta solve everything on my own. And what ends up happening is I'm going around in circles, and so when I get off this wheel and I simply, even if it's a simple statement, is stating and acknowledging how I'm feeling, allows it to kind of come out. And if I'm sharing it with, my good friend Solange, for example, then she gives her the opportunity to share with me and send her love to me, because we have good feelings for others. We want to do things for others. We want to give to others, right? And so it's like, if I hold everything in, then I don't give my friends an opportunity to give to me the same way that I wish to give to them.
And it is critically important, Jenn, and I know you know this, I'm just stating it for the rest of the community, that we allow people to contribute to us. I know I had to learn that lesson back in 2001 after, 9/11, that, yes, let's say I'm a giver, right? So I like to give to people, but it was what I didn't have my receiver on. So people couldn't contribute to me. So they felt less than. They felt like unempowered. They didn't feel good around me because, yeah, I'm giving, but I'm not letting them give to me. And it feels like I'm rejecting them. Right. And so if we can open ourselves up to speak our truth to our partner, to our good friends, whoever you're comfortable with, we now are co-creating with the universe love, which expands exponentially.
It does.
Yeah, I feel like Susan's here. Do you feel her? Because I've felt her since the beginning of the show. Yeah. So I just want to thank Susan Rossi for being here today. Thank you. I feel her.
Yeah. And what's important also, you're talking about giving and receiving. Well, a lot of us think of ourselves as being givers. We give, we want to help people, and it's actually very, very important to receive or learn to receive, because it's the flip side of that duality. So when we don't receive, when we block it, then it creates blockages in other aspects of our life. So for example, it can show up in different ways, in health or in wealth. A lot of times, why people have, that's a big question. However, if we don't receive in all aspects, we're not receiving money in a certain way too. Right. So it affects us tremendously, and sometimes even in the giving and the receiving of thoughts and words too. Right.
Well, and the assumptions, Spirit's coming into me. They say talk about the assumptions we make about when we are hearing other people speak. Like, we can either assume that people have our back. We can assume that they're trying to contribute in a way that lifts your spirit. Or we can assume that people cancel are out to get us and hurt us because we have a self-limiting belief. We have a pattern that has existed over time, and we're in that pattern, and we're not releasing that pattern at this point in time. Mm-hmm. And so if you have this thought form that says, people are trying to harm me, well, then you're going to keep attracting that until we release that from your field of consciousness so that you can replace it with a pattern that's more empowering.
Right. Well, the interesting thing is that we have choice on the thoughts and the words that we have in our head. For example, when I was young and younger, and I was growing up and things, I thought I'm a pessimist. I always look at things from a negative point of view, the glass is half empty kind of way. And I never really understood, like, how can people be so positive and, think like, oh, well, this is okay. You can learn from this, or make lemonade and all these things. Right. And it wasn't until later that and I started working on my inner thoughts that I realized that, that it was actually a choice. I chose to be pessimist. Now I have people that are going, what do you mean you were a pessimist? That's not possible, because I really don't look at the world in that way anymore. And that's a choice. And when we're talking about thoughts, what a lot of us don't really realize is that we are actually much more negative to ourselves in our heads very often, and we don't catch it because we've got so many thoughts zooming through our heads that we're not noticing, we're not paying attention, and we don't realize that we actually beat ourselves up quite often. And then you wonder, like, oh, no wonder like I'm like sad or unhappy or maybe even depressed or unwell physically, because it's like I'm beating myself up. So if something like sending love to your water has an effect, you know, on the water itself, you know, being that I'm all water, if I'm being negative in my head, what is that going to look like? What do your thoughts show up as in your life?
Yeah. Are you in an abusive relationship, meaning negative self-talk? It's an abusive relationship, right? Self-abuse. I have a girlfriend of mine, Debbie Pickus, Team Fireball out of Illinois. I had to think about. And she really teaches people about, you know, how we're really abusive to ourselves.
Definitely. Definitely. I mean, how many of us
shift that? How do you get people to shift that negative self-talk?
Well, first you have to notice it. Number one is, do you notice when you're being negative to yourself? So for example, well, I mean, the only way to change it is you have to notice it first. You have to name it, then you have to claim it, and then you can heal it. Because if you don't recognize it, if you don't know what's happening, how are you going to change something, right? So you have to pay attention to what you're thinking in your mind. So, for example, well, what does negative self-talk look like? Well, for example, if I'm saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm like so fat today," you know, like, "Oh, I'm ugly," or "Oh, I'm so stupid. Why did I do that stupid thing?" You know, all these things. So let me clear and nullify all those comments that I just made just now. You know, when we're saying these things to ourselves, you know, it has an effect on us emotionally. It has an effect on us physically. So we have to notice and pay attention. You know, this is a mindfulness thing. Okay, did I just say that about myself? Like, what? Then when you notice it, you have to stop it. And here, years ago, I actually did this. I was going through a really deep depression years ago, and I wanted to know, okay, wait, am I really that negative and hateful? And so I got a little clicker, one of those little counter things, because I wanted to count. And I remember sitting down in a conversation with a few of my friends, and I was just listening to them. And then I remember just while they're talking, going and listening to my own thoughts in my head and going click, 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 click. And it was so many thoughts in just like 20 seconds. 30 seconds. I was shocked. I was like, okay, this has got to stop. So we have to notice first.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, and then, you know, what happened for my husband and for me is like, once you make that shift and you're no longer beating yourself up and you have the self-love and the self-confidence, like you exchange that, right? All of a sudden you're like, I don't even remember doing that anymore, right? Because it's not even in your consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
That concept of not being kind to yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So going back to the how, like, how do we do that, right? So first we notice it, then we stop it. So when I'm starting to have a thought, then I can say, no, stop, and think about something else. Maybe it's too soon for me to like switch from like I hate myself to I love myself. Maybe that's too big of a jump. So we just say stop, and then let me think about pink bunnies, or just something to just, you know, distract and just make a shift in the highway in our minds, right? So then after that, I always make, I don't make anybody, but I suggest to my clients gratitude. Gratitude is a fantastic way to raise your vibration and uplift yourself. So I suggest that every day to write down a minimum of 5 things that I'm grateful for, thankful for, or appreciate in my life. I would usually say 5 things in general and then 5 things about myself. Now, if I've
that's deeper. Okay, I do a little differently. I like yours better. So
yeah. So the 5 things about myself that I appreciate and I am thankful for, that tends to be a bit more challenging for most people, because we're so used to beating ourselves up, we don't recognize what's good about ourselves. So I say write it down, 5, and no repeats. So you do this for, let's say, challenge yourselves 30 days, and 5 different things every day that I appreciate and I'm thankful for about myself, and I no repeats. So it could be something as simple like, oh, I have pretty hands. I'm grateful for my beautiful hair. I'm grateful for that I have a very nice smile. I'm grateful that I am loving to myself today, whatever it is. And then over time, you'll have a whole list of all the things that are wonderful about you. And that just like lifts up and raises your vibration and gets you out of depression. It gets you out of ill health. It gets you energized. Gratitude is amazing.
Well, because our disease is rooted in your thoughts. And so if you're continuing to beat yourself up, again, going back to, are you in an abusive relationship and you're your worst offender, right? I would add to what you're saying, okay, yes, what are you grateful for? Love the things, love that you've got 5 things in general and 5 things about yourself with no repeats. I love, love, love that. I've always just done 3 in a journal or a gratitude jar. And then it kind of expounded where I felt like it didn't belong in a jar or a journal. So I started sending the gratitude to the people, like on Facebook, on LinkedIn, in a letter, in a note, in a conversation. So start where you're comfortable and let it expound. We don't really write gratitude anymore because we're constantly in the moment giving gratitude that I'm not really called anymore to write it down. Now, if I get low vibration, you better believe I got the pen and paper out and I got, my jar, like, right away, or I'll find something to write.
Yeah. At a certain point, it becomes like just a habit of I'm looking for something throughout my day. And when it shows up, because when we're making lists and it's like, okay, this is an exercise, I'm sitting down and I'm thinking through my day, what was I grateful for? And then I'm writing it down. And then after a while, then it becomes like, oh, that sunset is gorgeous. Like, oh, wow, look at that beautiful bird. It's so pretty, the song, and it becomes like a gratitude in the moment. And then you start living your life in that way. It becomes habit.
Andrea says, what a beautiful way to foster love and expand on your vibration. Yeah, thank you. Is Andrea your friend, or do you know Andrea?
No.
So, well, thank you, Andrea, for joining our show today. We're grateful to have you here. See, there you go. Great gratitude, right? And we have another caller at 312-671 on Blog Talk. So we're going to pick up the call for you. I will say that you can watch this show on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Blog Talk, and Podbean live. And then you can watch the replay everywhere you watch your podcast, just about. I mean, like Spotify, Audible, Apple, you name it. So we're going to bring on 312-671, and you get to ask your question. So Grand Rising, and this is Jodi Suson of Cell Care. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Well, and shalom, Grand Rising to you, Jodi, and your guest too. This is Minister Robert Floyd Plump from Chicago. There's basically 3 types of people that you're speaking about, and those are giving people, receiving people, and plus healing people. And thank God for the female solution. And I just want to share a few ideas and to see. Did you know about healing equals to 23, Jodi?
Healing equals to 23. Is that what you said?
Yes, ma'am. Just like, right.
So,
And D equals to 23, which means abundance of blessings. You know, God is good and the greatest. He woke us up today, so I'm happy, and healthy, wealthy, and wise because I have PMA in my mind all the time.
yes, you
So
do.
today is the greatest day of a brand new beginning in my life, and that's because it's Tuesday, and you're talking about self. And self, each person have a healing in them. Each person have music in them, and I do music. And I promote the world's greatest music is just like I promote the world's greatest movie in the future would be, that's the name of the movie. And Mayor Harold Lee Washington named the movie called The Greatest Good Movie. And he also said we must pump the whole community. And that is also in peace, love, unity, marketing people. The 5-letter words I think about every day is peace, love, unity, marketing people. And
that is your name, Plump.
Yes, Plump. You know, Plump when you cook them, a commercial.
There you go.
That's what. Yeah, it is. You know, life is real. So I'm thankful that I could call in today. When I happen to call in, I know we in it to win. I call in at exactly or came in on the station of the talk program 7:27 a.m. today. And today is the greatest day of a brand new beginning because it's a unity day, which is Tuesday. Did you know Tuesday is a unity day?
So I was not aware. Jen, are you aware?
I have not heard of it.
No, I did
Or
not.
Yes?
So I've not
Well,
heard that
this is
Tuesday
what
is
they-
the Unity Day. I'm looking that up.
Yeah, well, this is a day. When I say Unity Day, it's it got the UN Tuesday, and then you got the and then you got another Unity Day, which is known as the best business days of the week, and that's Thursday. So I'm a student for life.
Well, wait,
and
Minister
I love
Plump.
the female solution.
Minister Plump, I'm going to interrupt and just say this. So, because I decided to look up the Day of Unity, and this year it's on my birthday, October 18th. So I'm just saying.
Well, that's good. That's fantastic. And then too, mine is on November 18th. So, and it's also when we say Tuesday or Thursday, it's a day of divinity. It's 9. 9 is spiritual all the time. So, to create more information, people can go to plumpfoundation.org. Thank you.
You're
God bless
welcome,
you.
Minister Plump. And thank you for calling into the show. We appreciate you listening in and contributing every week. So thank you for being here. We appreciate you. So
God bless you.
God bless you. So we have Vieta Robinson. Just trying to get this up there. Hold on a second. So we have Vieta Robinson. She is another female solution host. She is on Fridays and Sundays. And she's a holistic life coach. And she and I will be at the Holistic Lifestyle Conference at the end of this month, May 31st through June 4th. And if you are in the Orlando, Florida area, I encourage you to register for the Holistic Lifestyle Conference. I will be speaking on May 31st. I think it's at 3:00 in the afternoon, 3 or 4. I think it's 3. On shifting your mindset around health and how to lose the stress. So, and it's pretty all inclusive. So I think I'm going to have to talk fast on stage. Just saying. I'm like, and done, right? So it is 8:59. And I'm going to go to a quick commercial. Please get your cup of coffee, go to the bathroom, hang and listen to the commercial. Join us right back. Bring on your questions, please, for Jenn. And you can call into the show just like Minister Plump did and my husband at 515-605-9325 and ask your questions or make a contribution. So we're just going to quick go to, and actually I'm going to run I'm not really good at working the Blog Talk switchboard, but we have commercials from my sisters from another mister, which, you know, Zelda Robinson, who has our Monday show. Naima Latif is on Wednesday. And if I can figure this out, I will press the right button in a moment. Or maybe not. Hold on a second here. This is why I don't really play. Here we go. But this is why I usually don't play the ads on Blog Talk because I can never figure this out. But here we go. I got one.
I'm Beata, your holistic life coach. These days, it's more important than ever to work on your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Are you consciously breathing deeply in stressful moments? Do you have a plan or daily routine to maintain balance in your awesome body? Are you struggling to be disciplined in your eating habits? When you partner with me, I'll help you develop a personalized health plan that works for your particular lifestyle. You can find out more about me at yourholisticlifecoach.com, where you can also review my 3-step protocol to guide you to abundant health. That's yourholisticlifecoach.com, and I'm Beata.
Oh, there's the other one.
Hi, this is John Alexander.
And I'm Naima Latif. Meet people like you who are making a positive difference in the world. Watch us every day on The Media Connection at www.youtube.com/TheMediaConnectionTV.
YouTube it. We'll see you soon.
There are people who choose to make a positive difference in the world. Our job is to bring you their stories to motivate you to do the same. Join us each week, host John Alexander and Naima Latif, as we bring you the educators, entertainers, elected officials, religious leaders, and community activists whose works are transforming this world. Find out how you can make a difference too. Be inspired. Watch The Media Connection. Mondays at 5 p.m. and Tuesdays at 12 noon on cable TV, Channel 19 in Chicago. And other cities, check your local cable listings.
Okay, well, we are back. We have Chris who joined us this morning. Good morning, Chris. And Zelda, good morning. Thank you for being here. We appreciate everybody joining in. If you guys have questions or want to call in, looks like I'm not sure if this is the same number. Is that the same number? Yes. Okay, it's the same number, still Minister Plumps. But you can call into the show with your questions. I want to go back to, you were saying earlier, Jenn, how we are all healers. And how is it that someone could potentially step into or start recognizing how they're contributing to the well-being, healing of others? We talked about, sending the smile, sending love. What happens when you know that? I mean, like, I've learned this from you. I've learned this from others as well. someone disappoints you, right? They're supposed to show up a certain way or a certain time, and they don't. Do you send them anger, or what do you send them? It's a setup.
Well, if there is disappointment, then you started out with expectation.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then there's judgment, right?
Right.
So first, then I like grace. So the energy and frequencies of grace, I send it all the time, and include yourself in that, forgiveness, right? Forgiveness for others, for whatever their actions were, forgiveness for yourself, for attracting that into your life. We everything we do, everything that happens to us, we created. So it's about self-responsibility. What did I do, or what were my thoughts, or what were my actions that magnetized and drew that kind of interaction to me? Does that make sense?
Completely. I'm typing it in for you. What did I do that magnetized and drew that interaction or experience to me, to my field?
Mm-hmm. So it's we're not victims. We're never victims. We create our reality all the time. It may not be conscious, and that's why we need to practice, and we need to, like, what am I thinking? What are the thoughts that I'm having? What are the emotions that I'm holding? Because all those things are magnetic, and they're drawing things to us, experiences to us. If my thoughts are full of love and joy and happiness and gratitude, and I'm radiating that out, what do you think I'm going to attract to my life?
More of that. Way more of that.
Right?
And actually, I was explaining this to someone the other day that do I have permission to use the example that happened in class with you and I? It was my issue that you showed up for me.
If it's your issue, then that's okay.
Yeah, that was my issue. So I about attracting into our field, right? And we attract into our field also things that need healing because they're a repeated pattern. And I had a pattern with my sister, and you are nothing like my sister. Like, you don't know my sister, but you're nothing like her. Okay. Not at all. And you showed up for me like my sister, and I got pissed at you. You remember?
Yes, I did.
And it was an opportunity for me to clear that energy, clear that frequency. So I didn't have to hold on to resentment. I didn't have to hold on to anger. I didn't have to hold on to, hey, I'm being judged, right? And that's not who you are at all. And then you showed up for me like that in an effort. And I don't think you even did it consciously. It's what you were here to do for me. And so that I could release it. And the outcome is, who would freaking believe it? I'm now in relationship with my sister. Right? So if we can shift our thinking that, Jenn's a bad person, she was doing this. No, Jenn's showing up for you. I don't know, I didn't know Jenn at the time. Jenn showed up for me so I could clear something. So I have a client, and that client has a new role, and 5 of her direct reports all showed up as versions of her old self. Right? And so it was like a test, or a litmus test, if you will, from the universe saying, are you really clear with this? Are you clear with this frequency? Because if you're clear, we can get rid of it now. Right? And so it grew that person, right? Exponentially. So if we shift our thinking from they're doing it to me to they're doing it for me, it's showing up for me as a gift from the universe so we can clear what doesn't serve us.
It's like if it's a repeating pattern, then it's what can I do or say or think that is different than I have done before? If someone does something and I get upset, like, oh my God, this person didn't show up on time. I'm so mad, oh, why people don't show up on time, and I'm holding this anger, and well, another person's going to show up late again, and I'm be like, so, well, when we shift and go into, when we shift, then it's like, it doesn't bother me anymore. It's like, oh, well, something happened. So something happened and they were late, and it's like, it's okay. There's divine timing. Things happen when they're supposed to. And I am letting that go. Then that won't happen anymore. It's like, oh, I've already learned my lesson to have patience or have compassion or trust in divine timing, whatever those lessons are. Then my reality shifts too. And suddenly, oh, everybody's on time, everybody's early, or whatever it is.
Yeah. Or like it's so funny. My husband and I go to, I think it's called the Strand in Marietta Square. And we've seen these are cover bands, but Van Halen cover band, Chicago cover band. And I know that we need to be there at a certain time, but I'm always kind of working on cloud time, meaning the universal time. And right, I'm not really watching the watch anymore. I just don't. And I mean, I do as best I can. I mean, like the show has to start at a certain time, so I make sure that I'm on right for that. And he was always worried about getting a good seat. And each time, we not only we got the best seat, smack dab in the middle of the theater and in the middle of the row, perfect in the stage. And we got there 2 minutes before start time because the seat's waiting for us. I just co-created. So my point being, you can co-create with the universe whatever it is that you want to bring into your field. So co-create something really cool, right? I want to ask questions of our audience. What is it that you have co-created with the universe that you want to share, that you're proud of? Hi, Carlos. I love Carlos. He's amazing. And thank you for showing up. And I love what he's sharing because we do need to talk about it. But before we do that, I just want to go back to Andrea. She says, hard pill to swallow. Thank you for the reminder, forgiveness of others and self. So Andrea, hard pill to swallow. Shift the thinking to easy button. Like it's easy. It's so much easier to love on people. And when we hold on to anger, we hold on to resentment, it actually takes more energy. And one of the things that I've learned to do is to keep giving it to God. Like it's not mine to carry. Do you want to add to that, Jenn?
Actually, that's one of the one of the easiest ways when you're frustrated and you don't know what to do with something, give it to the divine, give it to spirit. And spirit has more answers than we do on a human level. And it's basically asking for help, to carry the things, the burdens that are too much for us, not meant for us. Sometimes we carry things that we don't need to carry, and when we ask for assistance, we get it. When we don't ask, we're left to deal with things on our own.
Well, you suffer, right? I mean, if we're carrying it ourselves, now we're suffering. So if you like suffering, carry it. If you don't like suffering, give it to spirit, right? It's kind of like the easy button.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, life can be as easy as we choose to be, for it to be. And a lot of times we don't know that, we didn't learn that, we learned elsewhere, other, our parents going, oh, you have to suffer, otherwise you're not doing good in life. Or you have to suffer in order to like work hard for success, or all these sayings that we get trained and programmed from when we were children, about life being hard and difficult and all that. And this is all old paradigm things. We're shifting to a new world, new dimensions, we're raising in vibrations. We can do things an easy way if we choose.
So if you're struggling with easy, post that on your refrigerator door, post it on your computer, post it somewhere, keep it on your phone screen. Easy, easy, easy. We can step out of the struggle and step into easy. And imagery is amazing because you want to keep on imagining easy and the easy button. Want to add to that?
I have no further comment for that. Right. That's easy is good. I like easy. I like gentle also. I am complete with hard lessons in life. I like it. Gentle lessons, easy lessons.
I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we've got a lot of people here. So we welcome Chris. She says, where the mind goes, energy flows.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Carlos. I can never say this. Can you say it?
It's ho'oponopono.
Ho'oponopono. Thank you. You want to explain what that is?
Ho'oponopono is Hawaiian, and it's actually quite simple, and it is also very powerful and effective. So Ho'oponopono is you could say it's a healing modality in a way, so it goes, I love you, please forgive me, thank you, I'm sorry. These 4 phrases utilized can heal relationships, can heal life, can heal institutions, so you can change the order to how it fits you. And what it does is, the more you feel into these statements, for example, if I did something that I thought was really silly, oh, there's a song. It helps us in a certain way. First is the I'm sorry, for example. We're gonna listen to the song.
Okay. So that kind of, yeah, we'll just leave that there for a minute. Go ahead.
Okay. So when we're apologizing, when we say I'm sorry, then it is an acknowledgement. Okay, there is something that happened, and it's an acknowledgement. Remember what I was saying earlier, we have to name something, we have to acknowledge something, recognize something before we can heal it, right? And regardless of whether I feel someone wrongs me or I wrong someone, that doesn't matter, because I create my reality, right? So regardless of if I'm mad that someone did something to me, it doesn't matter. I'm still sorry for having created that situation or where I'm mad, for example. So I'm very sorry. Please forgive me, asking for forgiveness, allowing and opening up space for grace and change and the clearing of whatever happened, right? Thank you. Thank you for this, showing me this. Thank you for showing me where I need to clear. Thank you for this lesson. Thank you for my life. Thank you for whatever, for this person. Thank you for the situation. Thank you for the understanding. Thank you for the opportunity to practice forgiveness. Thank you for the opportunity to recognize where I'm triggered, right? And
Huge, right? Very, very huge.
right.
To
And
recognize, I just want to pause on that one just because I want people to really hear that. Thank you for the opportunity to recognize when I'm triggered and feel that emotion, feel that trigger, and then give it away. Give it to God.
right. I mean, unless it comes up, it's just hidden somewhere, like a little dust bunny in the corner of your closet. It's like, if you don't recognize it, it's just gonna sit there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's like, oh, thank you for this opportunity. That I thank you for showing up so that I can get rid of you.
Right? If it doesn't serve you, you certainly don't need it in your field.
Definitely,
And
right?
it may have served you at one point in time to keep yourself protected from something. I can't speak to that, but it's in the energy and frequency that we're in now. It's not gonna work in this. It's not gonna work in this environment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. And then the last part of Ho'oponopono of I love you. It's I love you because you are me. It's about oneness again, right? And we're all mirrors to each other. We think someone is doing something to us, and it's like they're showing us how we be within, and it's a reflection of us. So it's like, oh, I love you, thank you. And love is pretty much one of the highest frequency vibrations there are. And to send that to someone, right? And send it to myself, that just changes. Doing Ho'oponopono, if I have a relationship that's really challenging, like my mother, it's challenging around my mother, and maybe I fight with my mother, then I'm like, okay, let me do Ho'oponopono, and she doesn't have to know. On an energetic level, I'm sending vibrations of love, forgiveness, gratitude. She's gonna feel it. It's gonna shift things. And the more that you are able to, with your intention, send out these vibrations to yourself, to a loved one or a relation, or even a so-called person you dislike, or an enemy, the more we're able to do that, then the faster the shift in the relationship that will happen.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I went from when I would be mad at someone or they disappointed me, I had this expectation to being angry with them, to just shifting and sending love. Like the other day, the plumber that's supposed to show up and install our whole house water filtration system didn't call and didn't show. And I immediately went to, I hope he's okay, send him love and grace. Now, the old version of me would have been different. But I also believe in divine timing. Mm-hmm. The divine has an idea about who's supposed to be here for me.
Yes.
And it wasn't that person. So I'm okay with that. Like say, thank you. Really, thank you. Because I don't know who it is, but it's going to be pretty amazing.
So it will be the right person to do the right job. And Ho'oponopono is not only for myself or for you or for close relationships. We can actually do Ho'oponopono for like the government, for example. It's like,
let's do that, shall we?
Right? We have all these ideas about, crazy government's doing this, or the military, or this, or like bureaucracy, Andrew's working with Medicare people, and it's just Medicare, all these things. We can actually do Ho'oponopono for.
Well, and it's interesting though, I'm on Medicare because I was disabled for 4 years. Now I actually don't use it because I don't see doctors, because we do our own healing. However, I want to tell you something. When I think about, and I've known about Oak Street Health way before Andrew, because when I was the chairperson for the American Diabetes Association back in 2018 for the expo, they were my client. Like they were, I think they were in business maybe a few years. And so they were one of our expo clients. And so they are really demonstrating servant leadership. And, while I don't necessarily love Western medication or Western methodologies, the cool thing about what they do is they bring in speakers like you and I, and just other people in preventive health or holistic health, to speak about how do you stay healthy and out of the hospital. So they're actually investing in their patients, in educating them about nutrition, and all the things that many other companies are poo-pooing, right? I mean, so they have taken what could have been a low vibration experience, Medicare, and they're raising the bar. So I'm all behind this company. Like, because some people are always just going to be in Western medicine, right? But when Western medicine opens the door for holistic health and they're getting paid for it, well, hunky dory to me. I mean, I love that. Like, and to me, that's high vibration.
Yes.
So I'm kind of excited. We have so many comments in here. They're rolling off the page. Should we share what other people said, or?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay. So Andrea, or Nate, or Nilis, or no, I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry, but thank you. She says, my living situation and my current romantic relationship. Oh,
you were asking about like what
what's hard to swallow?
Miracles are showing up in your life, right? What you're attracting.
Yeah. So if you haven't already shared more about that, and if you're comfortable, feel free to share more. Deborah Smith, she says, forgive and to heal your own self. Right. So exactly. And Deborah is Travel Around with Deborah, and she's on I think 1 Saturday or 2 Saturdays a month on the Female Solution. And thank you for being here, Deborah. We love you. And Andrea says it can be easy and fun. Absolutely. Right. You want to be led by your joy guide. And Chris says, I decided I don't like to walk around feeling miserable. Once that decision was made, it became easier to put various situations in love instead of anger or hurt. Good job. So Bipa says, once I got the advice to ask God to help you to love the person you can't forgive in the same way that God loves.
This is Vera.
Vera, that's what I see here. She says, my name is Vera, still Russian nickname. Well, Thank you for being here, Vera. We're grateful to have you here and that you're joining in and contributing. We love it when people contribute.
And what Vera is saying, it is that whole giving it to God, giving it to spirit, to the divine, and it's like, help me to love this person. And a lot of times it's when people are, that's the biggest challenge, right? When we get upset at someone and we're angry, or when that is the great, now if we can overcome that anger, if we can love someone that is difficult to love, that's like one of the biggest lessons we get to learn in life. So to ask God to help us, like, let me help someone that is difficult to love. It's a good piece of advice.
Well, yeah, because, I feel like when we can't love someone how they are, we have a block ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So it's our block, not theirs.
Exactly.
Yeah. And yes, thank you, Vera. And Teddy, she says, when I first open my eyes to wake up, I consciously say thank you for another chance above ground. It's a great way to start the day. Gratitude. Well done, Teddy. And Chris says, heal ourselves within and it changes our reality. So grateful we had the ability to do this. Yeah, it's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's with my recent health journey, I mean, with the, I have two significant ones, but the last one with the electromagnetic frequencies, I had to do a lot of self-healing. But you don't want to negate the partners in healing. So I saw my chiropractor, so I had my acupuncturist who helped me with diagnosis on the front end. And then Dr. Wade Port, saw him yesterday because I couldn't figure out why the heel still hasn't healed. There's like this significant pain. And, you want to leverage their knowledge and their ability to hear from spirit, which you can't hear because he's a spiritual chiropractor. And then you can still go back and do your self-healing or let them contribute to your healing or, so we're here in community to do this together, right? Joy. Hi, Joy. Thank you for being here. I always love having you here. She says, Grand Rising all, peace and gratitude. Absolutely true. We need to shift from what we have been taught. You have to suffer. Ooh, cancel, 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 right? Happy to learn that easy is available and is a mind-shifting event. Thank you. Scriptures support that, but scriptures support that, but we have to lend our ears to the voices outside of us. Matt 11:30. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Thank you. Yeah, I think when we shift our thinking, which is operating in the DK zone. Are you familiar with the DK zone?
What's the DK zone?
So the DK zone is something I learned out of my training in landmark education in 1989. And you draw this pie chart, right? And there's 3 parts of the pie. And the little sliver of the pie, let's say it's like, this big, is what you know that you know. Like for me, I know that I'm wearing a white, cover up or a shirt or whatever. I know that my glasses are red. And there's no denying what I know. And then I know what I don't know. I know what I don't know, meaning I know I'm not an airline pilot. I know that I'm not a brain surgeon, right? I know that to be true. So those are 2 little slivers in this big pie. And then you've got the rest of the pie. That's the DK zone, which you don't know that you don't know, which allows for the shift in your thinking. So when you can live out of the DK zone, you then are priming yourself for great growth.
Do you mean living in the DK zone?
It can be stated, I think, either way. You can live in the DK zone, meaning being open. And I also say living out of that, meaning manifesting, like living out your life. it's words and interpreted different ways. But basically, it's living your life in a way that allows you to be open to something new so you can manifest your greatest self.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, choose the phrase you like. I'm cool. Zelda from the Higher Learning Network TV show says his no-show was a great lesson, wasn't it? Lessons often come in strange forms, but it's always right on time. Yeah, and I don't even know what the lesson is yet. I don't know what the gift is yet, but I'm cool with it. Like, I just, like, the old me would have worried, been mad, but like, I'm cool. Andrea, does divine timing work on the opposite side as well? In other words, when something arrives when you least expect it? Go ahead, Jenn.
Yeah, absolutely. Divine timing works everywhere, all the way around, on your side, my side, all sides.
Because it's the divine.
It's divine, exactly. Yeah.
So divine timing is about in God's timing, meaning God really controls all things. We do have free will. I think for the most part, not all. Not I don't think I'm there yet. I really just give everything to God. Like I surrender. And when you stop pushing on something that's not meant for you, I mean, all that is a struggle with the universe. So if it's not supposed to be there, let it go. If it's meant, okay, Jenn, take the show for a second. I'm going to bring in a picture because it was my life lesson that my mom gave me as a child.
Okay.
Bring it in. So talk about divine timing, all right, if you don't mind, and I'll be right back.
Yes. So yes, so with divine timing, and it is about letting go, and what people talk about going with the flow, right? So if we are centered within ourselves, we are connected to source, we're balanced within our being, then things flow in a way that in a way that life becomes easy. You sit where you need to sit, you meet people who you're supposed to meet, you receive what you're meant to receive. And a lot of times when we have certain ideas of, I want this now, I have to have this, and if I don't, then my world is so wrong, then we kind of tighten up. When we're tightened up, we're not receiving. So it's kind of like if you wanted water from a river and you go to the water and you're trying to grab it, like, why can't I get some water? I'm grabbing and I'm not getting any water. Well, if you relax a little bit and you open your hands and you allow, and then you receive it, you'll notice that the water gathers up for you. You didn't have to grab it. You didn't have to try. And so the timing of it happens automatically. And that's having trust, giving it to God and knowing that what you're asking for, if it is for your good, and you're meant to have it, whether it be an object or a relationship or money and cash or a job or whatever it is that you're desiring, you can have those things and you will receive if you allow. And if we're not blocking it, because sometimes we do things that block it. We say, oh, well, I want a really serious relationship. Oh, but I want just casual fun, and I don't want something, it's like we're contradicting, and then it's like, then the divine doesn't know what to give us. So
right?
What it is that we're really desiring, right? Do I want a job in Orlando? Do I want a job here? Do I want to go to Germany? And if we are having conflicting thoughts, then we start going this way, we start going that way, then it gets confused. So get clear, what is specifically that we desire? More, even better, how do you wish to feel in whatever it is? How do I wish to feel in a job? How do I wish to feel in a relationship? How do I wish to feel in my interactions with my family? And focusing on that will shift things, rather than I want this, if that makes sense.
Well, actually, it makes a lot of sense. And I'm so glad you brought this up, because how you feel. Jen, I think a lot of people have turned off their feelings, and they're not allowing the signal of how they feel to come through. I've noticed this, because someone said, well, how do I feel? And they'll give descriptive words that are not feelings, you know? And so I'm like, okay, well, that's not a feeling. You know, let's go back and try a feeling.
Right. So then you have to define, if we're talking about emotion, it comes down to 4 basic emotions, right? There's mad, sad, glad, and scared. That's the four fundamental emotions.
Mad, glad, sad, and scared. Yeah.
Yes. Those are the 4. So any other words like I'm angry, I'm full of rage, or I'm really depressed, or I'm full of gratitude and joy, I'm very loving, or like it freaks me out, I'm terrified, all those words have these 4 basic emotions. So if we're talking about feelings, there's different types of feelings. If you're talking emotions, then we need to go down to these 4. And then feelings can be other things. It could be senses, right? Like what you sense in your skin, or what you sense in terms of like when that inner gut feeling, those. So those are, it's like, what are you asking is what.
Yeah, for sure. So I want to go back to like what we're manifesting, what we're trying to control. And my mom gave me this picture. I'll read it. It's Raggedy Ann and Andy.
Oh, okay.
And I got it when I was a child, and it was in a much different frame in the 60s. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it says, and if you love something very, very much, let it go free. If it does not come back, it was never meant to be yours. But if it does, love it forever. Meaning we have to surrender to the universe, and we can't make someone like us. We can't make someone love us. We can't make someone anything. It's not ours to control, right? And so what she was really teaching me from a young age is the power of surrender, And this is Fagala. She says, hello, mommy. She says, hello, universe.
Hello, beautiful.
She's happy. She says, you look a little different in this dimension.
Yeah.
So we did raspberries on her last show. It was silly. So Andrea, I hope, and everyone, I hope that helps. Vieta says she is grateful to live in Florida with beautiful beaches, warm weather most of the year, trees and nature. Grateful for my small, low maintenance home, which is beautiful. I've seen it. 2 beautiful grandchildren, a healthy mind, body, and powerful soul energy, and new partnership with 2 male souls who came through my womb. That's nice. Yeah. And, Vieta, I'm grateful to have you as my friend and soul sister. And I can't wait to see you again at the end of the month. So she and I are doing the Holistic Lifestyle Conference together with my friend Rajai Kaldani. And do you have a message today? You do. Yes. So it's the message she first came on with the show when we first started the show 2 years ago. It's start with heart, and that's when I started realizing when I took a picture of her, This is her breastbone. When I took the picture, Spirit split the feathers down the chest bone, showing like, hearts, right? It was cool. I've got the picture. And that's when I started realizing that she was a magical creature. She's a griffin. And that she's here to serve us, to help educate us, to enlighten us, and help us grow spiritually. And she's really about being the love that you want to see in the world. And I'm so grateful to have you here. Love you. All right. And Chris says, Andrea, once you notice it in your life, you'll start seeing it everywhere, in part because it brings such joy. Nice. Yes, I agree. Thank you, Chris. And yes, Fagla has her own following. She says, Zelda says, from the Higher Learning Network TV show, you can watch her on Mondays. And she also has the teen contest where she empowers young women, young teenagers, and women and men, I believe. I'm sorry. She says, Fagala, yeah, hi from the Windy City. She says, you can stay there. She goes, I'm not going back to the Windy City. It's too cold and windy. Now, do you know why the Windy City is called the Windy City?
What? Because it's very windy. It's not why.
Because of the politicians, right, that never stop talking.
Oh.
That's what they're referring to.
Okay, well, I never learned that part. I always assumed it's very windy.
So I learned that not in high school, at undergrad at DePaul University when we studied Chicago history. So.
Interesting.
And Andrea says, thank you, Chris. We did not do our 9:30 commercial, so I'm going to do a quick commercial, and then if you have questions that you want to ask or share, I love the community that we've created here today. So grateful that everybody's here sharing your heart. That takes courage to step into who you are. So, all right. Let me just do that.
The Female Solution Global Radio TV Show invites you to an invigorating conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda Speaks. Tuesdays, Self-Cell Care with Jodi Suson. Wednesdays, Repairing Broken Families with Naima. Success Strategies with Jana. Second Saturday, Wendy Williams Esquire on relationships. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. And fourth Saturday, Wisdom with Mama D. Join us Sundays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Call in and comment 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak to the host and be a part of the solution.
Jodi Suson of Suson Essentials was misdiagnosed and nearly died in 2013. Instead, she chose to reclaim her health using plant and energy-based healing. After losing 92 pounds, she now offers the psychologist and doctor-recommended functional food program, focusing on two things: toxic-free living and the connection to our brain health. Suson Essentials re-engineered what health looks like with the self-paced functional food program, now available to you with plans starting at just $99.
So, Fagla, while we were on commercial, shared that I should share this about myself. So, and this it's actually recently just shifted. So most people who are listening in, not all, know that I was disabled for almost 4 years, which is why I do this show, to provide a free service through the show to educate people about how they can reclaim their health, because it's mind, body, spirit. And that's why we bring on people like you, Jenn, who really understand how to shift mindset, co-create with the universe. We bring on, other types of health practitioners, and everybody contributes their gift. And because I was disabled and not able to do for myself, when I got married and even just started dating my husband, I wouldn't let him do for me. Let that sink with you guys for a minute. He's my husband, and I'm resenting him because he wants to contribute. And I'm like, no, I'll do it myself. Because I didn't want to be reminded of being disabled. It wasn't about him. It's about me. So I pulled it out of my field. Right? But what I'm trying to say is that letting people contribute to you is really a huge part of the love and the give and take in relationship. So we have to allow people to give to us and not resent them for that. It's not his fault that I was disabled for almost 4 years. Why should I be mad at him? Right? Get over it. Anything else, or are we good? She says,
wanted to mention something. I would like to change the word from give and take to give and receive, because taking is very different from receiving.
Did I say take?
Yes.
Thank you for correcting me. Really, because it's not about taking, it is about receiving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, taking is very masculine, and it is a very, going and after something, where receiving is very feminine, and it's an allowing.
Thank you, because that's huge. Yeah, we absolutely need to receive versus take, and you taught me that, and apparently I still haven't changed my language, so I'm going to go back and listen to the show and listen to where I said that, because it is received. Taking is masculine, and we don't want to take from people. We want to allow them to give and be a space to receive and give back. So Zelda's back to the politicians in the Windy City. Blowing hot air is what politicians do. Vieta. Also, I grew up in Chicago and Lake Michigan. Winds contributed to the title Windy City, which then the winds became known as the Hawk. So I don't know what that means. How does the winds become known as the Hawk? Do you know, Jenn? Or
I no.
Me neither. Oh yeah, Chris. So Jenn, you're always teaching people that. I mean, that just always seems to show up for you, because you are the epitome of the feminine. And I mean that all the beautiful ways in which you can receive that.
Thank you.
Yeah. You are the epitome of what it means to be feminine. And I love that about you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I definitely am very, very feminine.
And I was forced, because of my situation as a kid, to really become masculine. And I'm done with it. I give it to God. I'm wearing my skirt today. Oh my gosh, I went back to flowy, no more. I mean, not no more structured things. I may have some structured things.
Well, the thing is, it's not about denying our masculine side if we're females, and for males, not denying that masculine side, and going towards the feminine. It is actually about the blending of both. It's about unity, so there are times when women have to be masculine. Masculine is about action, about doing. So yes, if there's certain things that need to be done, it's like I have to pull in and utilize, or not pull in, however, I got to utilize those masculine aspects of myself. So it's a
Harmonize it.
It is. It really is. So it's not about, oh, I'm been really writing the masculine side. Now I'm only going to be feminine. It doesn't work that way, because if I was only feminine, then I would just lay around in bed and do nothing all day, which actually I do sometimes. I wouldn't never get up and do things that I need to do, like send emails or come on the show,
whatever the productive things are, right?
Yeah, that does take some masculine energy, and then, I can go back to my femininity and my feminine side. And so it is the kind of blending and utilizing, but it's the dance of being both.
Yeah. And back to the title, healing is a dance, right?
Yes.
And she says Lou Rawls, who mentioned it in his song to Dead End Street, the hawk, the Almighty hawk, the wind in Chicago. The hawk not only socks it to you, he socks it through you. Well, Vieta, I used to work for the ATM and online debit network cash station in Chicago, where we launched, online point of sale. And I took the train in, and I walked from the train to Lake Michigan, because we were on Randolph and Lake Michigan, like right at Lakeshore Drive is where our office was. And yes, the wind does sock it through you, because it is cold. And that is why we're living in Georgia. The same. We don't like it over there. We like it over here. Back to the divine feminine and masculine. My husband and I have, and I think it's still a dance, learning to leverage his softer side when we need his softer side, my harder side when we need my harder side, because it's easier with certain situations. And like you said, we don't have to give it up. We just have to harmonize and let it work for us, not against us. Right? And you have something you want to say. She says we can all be more gentle with one another. Okay, so I'm going to call you on your shit. Okay, I get, yes, we need to be gentle. But when I got you out of bed this morning, you were literally standing on top of Tinkerbell, like you were quashing her. So I'm like, she's got one leg here, and I'm like, she straddled her, and Tinker's like, I'm just trying to sleep. So was that gentle? She goes, it was as gentle as I could be. I'm trying to get out. You are so funny. Because she's like, I have to go get Mom.
90
she's like,
seconds.
Boom, boom, right over Tinkerbell. Okay. Fine, masculine. Vieta says, her too. Yeah, Chicago is unforgettable. I'll tell you that. And Solange says, dears, thanks for this interesting podcast. Unfortunately, I got to go. We do too. So thank you, everyone, for being here today. Anything to add, Jen?
60 seconds.
Oh, yeah. Actually, this Saturday, if you're in the Atlanta area, I will be at Piedmont Park with Here to Love. We're having discussions on love since we brought up love. I'd love to join you if you would, or if you're able to come Saturday at 2 p.m. in Piedmont Park. And you can go to my website, weavinglux.com.
So can you type that in the private chat?
Yeah.
And I'm going to display it. And then I would I don't think I have any plans this Saturday. So I'm actually going to join you in Piedmont Park at 2:00 for that. That sounds like fun. But if you type in all the information in the chat, which looks like you already have
10 seconds.
You know, I will put this, and then can you put the event in?
Well, there's more information for that. So in the event is with Here to Love. And so it will be at Piedmont Park at 2 p.m. So Weaving Lux is my website. If you'd like to get in touch with me and have a chat with me, you can contact me through that.
Okay. And then let me put in the other information. And I also, okay, here to love.net. Let me go here. So we've got Weaving Lux. Okay, it's also in the thread. And then here to love.net.
Yes. So the event this Saturday is sponsored by Here to Love. Come talk about love.
Do you want to talk for a minute about Here to Love? You got an extra minute you want to share with those who are still here?
Well, Here to Love is a group that it is not my group. They talk and have discussions and meetings about all about love, all forms of love, and to spread and share unconditional love, to be loving, to do healings. So I was invited to join them, and I hope you join us too. They have online discussions once a month on the fourth Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern, I believe, and then in-person meetings on the second Saturday.
And who is Here to Love, Jen?
Here to Love is Carlos Pareño. He was here earlier.
Really? And who is Carlos?
He is my beloved.
Really?
Yeah.
I got chills. You know that. I just had to ask. So,
Jodi.
So my husband and I will be there unless he has plans for me that I'm not aware of. So go to heretolove.net, and that's where you'll find the event.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just do this.
It's on Meetup also, I think.
Here, oh, because I spelled it wrong. So heretolove.net. I just want to, there we go. And then I also want to do Weaving Lux. I was just having so much fun being present with you. I forgot to do this. I apologize. Weaving Lux, right? .net or .com?
.com. Okay. I think I got it right.
Okay. So let's just show people what they need to see, shall we? Okay, everybody. So this is Jenn's site. Right? So you can reach her here. And then her beloved's site, Carlos, is I'm coming up with that. Promoting love always. And it looks like, let me see. I'm looking for the event, honey. Oh, events. Here we go. So here's events.
Oh, maybe that wasn't updated yet. I'll ask him about it.
So what I'm going to encourage you, if he do you but you can also find it on Meetup.
Yes. So I'm sure he'll update this in the next few hours with the correct information.
So they can go to one of those places, and then and I'm not really Meetup, like I'm not really good at navigating Meetup, but a person would then look at Here to Love.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, on Meetup. So
It's just go to Here to Love, and then we'll have the information updated.
Okay.
Yes.
And all right. So that's awesome. And so I do encourage you to connect with Jenn. You know, I guess sometimes we forget to put that out there, but I know that my followers will always reach out and make sure that they get connected to who they need to get connected to. So have no fear, right?
Of course, everything happens as it ought to.
Right. So thank you, everybody. We're really grateful for all of you being here. And Jenn, why don't you hold on while we end the broadcast? And let me just do this.
Thank you.
What's that? If you
I said thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. And hold on.